Bene Gesserit's prophecy. Fear the mind that's set free. In the shadows, destiny. Shifting sands are fate to find. In the desert heat we leave behind. Promise of the queens that Haderach. Rising from the dust and bound. Beneath twin suns on Arrakis land, firmament whispers in the wind so grand. Melange flows through every hand. Shai Hulud rules the desert sand. Paul's visions, good times hold. He who sees where futures unfold. Blue within blue eyes so bold. Destinies in spice foretold. Shifting sands are fate to find. In the desert heat we leave behind. Promise of the queens that Haderach. Rising from the dust and back. Just cutting through the sky. Harkonnens plot and spies to lie. What is worth more than gold? Ancient secrets still untold. Shiny whispers, dreams to thee. Bene Gesserit's prophecy. Fear the mind that's set free. In the shadows, destiny. Shifting sands are fate to find. In the desert heat we leave behind. Promise of the queens that Haderach. Rising from the dust and bound.
Welcome back. Another Saturday night, Arrakis Central, Dune News Weekly. Did the show a little early. Got some stuff going on. I got to get back on some excuse me here. I'll tell you really why I'm going early, if you guys are wondering. I've been playing Stalker 2. So that's the true reason why I'm streaming early tonight, and then it'll be a quick, maybe 45-minute thing, and then later on I'll be playing Stalker 2. So yeah, it's been taking up some of my time. Hey, dude, Funcom snoozing. So on getting an open beta out, so I mean, I'd be playing that on live stream every night, but they still haven't got an open beta out on Dune Awakening yet. So, and I have bad luck, so I'm highly doubt I will ever get access to the closed beta. So yeah, and even as a creator, actually, I think I checked out. I asked that question in the FAQ, or what do you want to call it? The question section of Discord, and there was like, they're not gonna give. Basically, they didn't confirm or deny it, but it doesn't look like creators are gonna get closed beta. I don't know how that crap's working with that closed beta. I guess it's just a random drawing. I don't know. Nobody knows how they're selecting it. So all I know is you can tell when people get selected because what they're not supposed to be. They go into the regular Discord and they start blabbing like some kind of dumb people. And then they have to delete their messages and stuff. I'm like, it's like, Hey, Funcom, I'm right here. I know how to keep a secret. But yeah. So how do you know? I don't. Yeah, you can't even mention it. So you even got the email, but people are going on there and it's like, hey, I got the email. It's like, oh man, come on, dude. It's kind of funny. Man, I got 6 people in here already. What's going on? I gotta check the TikTok because my TikTok chat doesn't come through on my little tracker here. The TikTok is so loud compared to the YouTube and the Switch feed. Yeah, I usually don't get any views on TikTok. TikTok is a very weird platform. It sucks. I don't like it. I'll see how it goes. If today's news, though, that isn't actually the first story I want to start with. I wanted to wait for a few people to get in here before we started. Oh, I've been my thumbnails are hopefully about to get a little bit better for my videos too. I've been kind of doing some stuff behind the scenes for the channel. Oh, let me hit the multi-stream here real quick. I don't know if people are typing to me or not. Yeah, so basically I've been researching thumbnails and how to make them look better and putting more time into that for my videos. And then some other stuff. Plus I've been playing Stalker too. And then not a whole lot of news on Dune going on. Dune Prophecy came out and getting lackluster reviews. I watched the first episode. I thought it was fine for a TV show. So I think the main thing people were thinking it was going to be like the movies. And no, it's a TV show. So I think that's what people are getting kind of, I guess, not liking it. And I honestly think that people thought this was going to be Paul Atreides stuff. I don't know. Even though it says it 1,000 times in the trailers, it's 10,000 years before. I've talked numerous times about the backstory on this show from the books and how it's related to Sisterhood of Dune, Mentats of Dune, and Navigators of Dune, the 3 books, kind of the second trilogy of the Butlerian Jihad, the second part after the defeat of the machines. And it shows that, you know, it showed that in the first 10 seconds of the show, which is kind of a letdown. We wanted more of that, right? But the Machine Crusade gets basically at least they showed it, I guess, guys. I mean, at least they could have just started it and not said anything, which is for some reason the Hollywood likes to do that a lot with this Dune franchise. They like to omit certain parts of the story. One of my big pet peeves of this, I'm giving this show a 7 out of 10. The stylizing of it it's really just the soundtrack's not very good to me, honestly, folks. The music's not very good. And then the exposition they're kind of just telling us, like, remember, like the Mission Impossible movies, they just tell us the entire plot, like they actually say it out loud. That's kind of annoying to me in movies and shows generally. So my take is this show is a 7 out of 10 right now. We'll see tomorrow night whether or not it picks up. Oh, am I getting 2? I'm showing 2 of those signs here. Oh. Man, my stuff is going cuckoo. Let's take this off to the side here. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Yeah, I switched between accounts on my Streamlabs, And whenever you do that, it jumbles up the other account stuff. So it's kind of, ugh, it's kind of annoying. We're not really getting anybody. Well, we got 2 people in the TikTok, and I'm waiting for some people to get in on the stream here before I start digging into this stuff. This is not the first story we're talking about. We were going to talk about this Dune 3 news, but some articles I found that were pretty interesting. It doesn't matter which one we start with. This is not going to be a very long stream today. I'm probably, once we start going, you know how I go. I start yapping about the backstory of Dune Prophecy. But going back to that, my take on this show is, I am actually surprised that I really don't know Desmond Hart's, what his role is, because he's not really in the books. And I'm curious to see, I haven't looked it up like on any Google or anything, but so there's an Admiral Hart in Navigators of Dune, the book, the 3rd book of that little trilogy, which is basically happening around the, so Navigators of Dune, Sisterhood, Mentats of Dune, and Navigators of Dune is happening during, those books occur during her flashbacks in this show. So when you see Valia Harkonnen, we saw episode 1, she used the voice on Dorothea to stab herself. That's true. That's right out of the book. Mentats of Dune. I believe it's Mentats, the 2nd book. Dorothea wants to, just like kind of like in the show, she wants to wipe out they have the breeding index they talk about, and I've already basically told people what that is. You're going to see it in the show, what it is. And she wants to get rid of it. See, what they don't show is Dorothea was, there's a split, which they haven't, maybe they'll show it in a flashback, but Dorothea was gone. She was working for Emperor Salvador, right? So what happens is, in the first Sisterhood of Dune book, Valia Harkonnen and Dorothea are kind of friends, kind of, not really. And Dorothea is anti-technology, like fully, and then Valia Harkonnen is not necessarily pro-technology and stuff, but she's basically like Reverend Mother Raquella, when she died, the old lady who died in the first episode. She brings, early on, doesn't show this either in the flashback, she brings Valia on early on the secret of the breeding index, what they call it in the show, their breeding program that they want to put in place so they can control the bloodlines, which we know that's that's not a spoiler. They told us in the first episode. That's what they're doing. And Dorothea, what happens is that they find out that she dimes them out that they have this breeding computer, and runs off to the Emperor, tells them they have basically computer forbidden technology. So Valia Harkonnen, they're on a different planet, which is another thing they don't talk about. They're on Rossack originally. So in Sisterhood of Dune, they're on a planet called Rossack. It's a jungly planet where they design their poisons to become Reverend Mothers. And man, there's a lot of stuff in this show that I'm not gonna like, probably, because they're gonna water the books down probably. But as long as it gets somewhat close, I'll be okay. Because Dune Part 2 watered stuff down too from the book. But they're gonna. I hope they really just don't say it's water of life they're using to make Reverend Mothers, because I'll be mad about that. Because they're not using that yet. They're making their own poisons from different stuff. So they're making basically their other early versions of that poison. And Dune Part 2 actually said, they actually say that in the movie. Remember Lady Jessica's like, well, on other planets they use something else. And then here we don't know how they do it. Remember that in Dune Part 2? So that's in the movie, which I was like, wow, that's good. That was so that little line in Dune Part 2 was like basically a little teaser of the old prequel books. I was like, well, that's pretty cool that they threw that in there. Was that on purpose? I don't know. Sometimes I think they don't realize they did it, but so far this story is pretty good. It's just for Dune Prophecy. It's just they're leaving so much out. That's really the big part of the show. Is my problem. Is the music kind of sucks, and then those younger actors, like the younger girls and the sisters, they're not that good of actors. It's because it kind of stands out when you have like Mark Strong, and then you know, was it Emily Watson and all them? They're like great actors. So like, but then you have like those younger actresses where they're just like, you can tell they're like, what's it called? What's the I keep calling it WB, but whatever that channel turned into. But the acting isn't that great on some of those characters. Like when that one redhead girl was like telling that story about how she's, supposedly alive, how she killed her family or whatever. But then you could tell right away that the other girl in the back looked at her and was like, you were telling the truth. So she figured that out. I wonder who that girl's lineage. She said her lineage. So I was wondering about that, what that was going to be about. Is she basically related to Norma Senva or something? That'd be pretty interesting. I don't think they're going to do all that. That's what I'm worried about, folks. I'm thinking in my head the books, and I just think they're not going to put any of in there. I don't think they're going to talk about the Mentat School. I don't think they're going to talk about the Spacing Guild. Are we even going to see a space navigator? Even if... I just don't know if they'll do it, because they're mutated. Yeah, it's frustrating. It really is frustrating. With like, why haven't they even mentioned the Spacing Guild yet? Yeah, because he says the great houses will come after me if I don't get spies off Arrakis. No, you know who's going to come after you? The Spacing Guild. But they're out there. I mean, we're in Navigators of Dune. You kind of see what happens with that, because it's like a Joseph Venport is working with his grandmother, which is Norma Senva, the first Spacing Guild navigator, and she can warp herself, but with her mind. She doesn't need a Holtzman engine. All the rest of them need the Holtzman engine ships, and that's a cool book, Navigators of Dune, because it shows like the deck of the ship, where like, and in the back it's like regular people flying, the starship or whatever. But then behind him is like sitting on every bridge is a navigator tank with a guy in there doing the calculations. Pretty cool stuff. Yeah, I think that Navigators of Dune might end up being the best out of those 3 books. Pretty cool stuff. But yeah, you find out like so what people realize, forget, or don't know maybe, is that you can have a space folding ship and just on a leap of faith put in the best calculations you think you can as just a regular human, and then jump the ship, and then it's like a crapshoot whether or not you land where you want to go, or you land somewhere else, or you land into a star. It's like it's almost like a 60-something% chance that you'll make it to where you. So normally you'll make it sometimes, or but it's not. It's a lot of ships get lost, and there's other companies before the Spacing Guild that have space folding ships and have transport companies for stuff. The only one that has Spicing Guild navigators, spice navigators, is Joseph Venport's Venport Enterprises, Venki Enterprises, or whatever it is, Venport Holdings, and they're the only ones who know how to make spice navigators, and it's pretty cool in those books. Some people get forced into the spice tanks, like they catch a spy. I can't remember what book that was. That might have been Mentats or Sisterhood, but there's like once they catch a spy in there, and they're like, It's like, oh god, don't kill me. It's like, we're not gonna kill you. And they put him in the spice gas tank. And he's like, no. And he just eventually just like starts turning into a navigator because they lock him in there. It's like almost like, but it's after like, it doesn't say how long it takes, weeks I guess. I don't know. It doesn't really ever tell you how long. But after a while, when they start mutating, then they don't want to come out. They like it. So he was put in there like, don't put me in there, no, no. And then once they're in there, they're like, I like it. I can see. No, hey, Kato. Welcome to the channel. No, new episodes tomorrow night at 8 Central. Episode 2. I'm over here rambling about how they make spice navigators. Some of them are forced, so they're like, no, no, don't do it. Oh, you're gonna like it. And they put them in there and they start breathing gas, and I guess after a week or something, they're trapped in there. They don't want to come out. No, I like it. I can see the secrets of the universe. Thank you. This is the greatest thing you ever did. They're all like, they're all like weirdos now. Then they don't want to come out. After you become a navigator, you can't come out. I think you die anyways, but you don't want to. And then you need spice, and then it's like this whole, all they care about is, so the spacing navigators, they need spice to be able to keep seeing and do all their, out of body spatial, they get to go, they spend half their time, most of their time kind of just their minds wandering around the universe looking at stuff. And they just basically do the navigating stuff just to keep this, so they can keep spice. So it's like they're kind of slaves to the spice in a weird way. The navigators, it's weird. But they haven't really shown, they haven't talked about the navigators yet, which is annoying. And are they going to do it? That's my question. I put that in the Discord too. Will they show spice navigators? And most people think no, because they're just dumb. I mean, I think some of these people that make these shows, it seems like they had good intentions in the interviews I've seen. Like the lady that's making this show, I don't know what it is. Maybe they're getting orders from up above. Don't show the navigators. Maybe they're yeah. Dune Spice is here. Dune Spice, yeah, tomorrow at 8 Central. Get episode 2. My theory about Desmond is that I think when he got eaten by the worm, he gets like a taste of water of life or something, or maybe like a sand trout or something. I don't even know, but he's gonna get some sort of water of life in him, blood, dune or spice water. I don't know. I don't even know. And then he's gonna get like a little touch of permanent, power. And then somebody was saying something about he'll be the, I think in the books or something, there's like a herald or something of the God Emperor. But that's what I think it is, and he's basically he has a little bit of a foresight and a little bit of a power he got from the worm somehow. That's my theory. Another theory, some people think he's a Thalaxu Gola or whatever, or he's a Gola clone of the original guy, but I don't know if they've never talked about any of that though. Like if they talk about the Thalaxus and the Golas and stuff, but they haven't ever even talked about the basic character players of Dune, like Mentats and Spacing Guild. They didn't even have any Mentats in Dune Part 2. You see what I'm saying? They totally left freaking Thufir Hawa out of that whole movie. And he's like kind of a big part of the book. So I just don't think they're going to do Thalaxu stuff. I think they're gonna stick with like the normie story. That's why I'm getting kind of frustrated with the show and the way they're doing Dune in general, a little bit. Even though I like it, is that they're catering to these normies, but then the normies aren't happy because I don't understand the show, and they're like, "What is this? Where's Paul Training?" or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And it's just not a normie franchise, man. That's the problem. They're trying to make something that's has specific fans. The same thing they did, same crap they did to Star Wars. Star Wars had diehard Star Wars fans. No, we need to make it for everyone. We need to make it for 40-year-old, 50-year-old women that hate Star Wars their whole life. For cat ladies, it's just like the same crap. And actually though, a lot of those women like Dune. So they're actually more into the real sci-fi. The smart ones. Yeah, I've seen a lot more women into Dune than I think I have Star Wars. Which is pretty cool, right? It makes sense, because it's the Bene Gesserit. It's in the book that there's a covenant of women are very powerful in those Dune books. And I've seen people complaining about and they're fighting each other. Valia Harkonnen in the book is the best fighter that the Bene Gesserit has. She beats sword masters. So I think they're gonna show. I think they're gonna have a scene in the books. In the book, she's like, "Oh, little old me, I'm the nobody." So she tears people up. She developed the Weirding Way, essentially. She started the beginning of the Weirding Way, and then she also invented the voice. So yeah, so she basically started a lot of the stuff that becomes the Bene Gesserit, which is pretty interesting because they end up making Paul Atreides, but she hates all Atreides. But then she makes Paul Atreides eventually. She doesn't know that, I'm sure, but and they don't do a good emphasis, even though they tell you in the beginning of the show that she hates Atreides. That's why she's doing this. She wants to wipe out the Atreides. She's using the Sisterhood to wipe out the Atreides line to get revenge. And I don't think they're doing a good job of showing that. She's a totally selfish, evil person. And she uses her sister too. Like she acts like, "Oh, you're just my sis." But don't get it wrong. Valia Harkonnen is the bad guy of the show. She might act like, "Oh, little old me." No, she's using all of them to wipe the Atreides out. That's what she wants to do. That's her goal. And they're not doing a very good job of showing that in the book. She just pretends she cares about the Sisterhood. She's using it as a tool. I think I've seen flashbacks. So this could be a spoiler. She sends Tula to marry a Atreides on Caladan when she's young, and then Tula freaking shanks him in the neck. So we might see that in the show. I don't know. Remember when she's talking about sacrifices and stuff? I made sacrifices for you and all those things. When, to her earlier in episode 1, that's what she's talking about. Because she fell in love actually she went there to infiltrate the Atreides, and she falls in love with one, marries him, and then she goes through with killing him. But she didn't want to. She actually loved the guy. She fell in love with the guy. And then she goes and hides out on another planet. Then Vorian Atreides, with the other Atreides, comes to find her to kind of get just direct vengeance on her only. And they're on some planet. I can't remember the name, but they get jumped. Valia had sent actual agents, bodyguards, so to speak, to follow Tula, even though she didn't know they were there. And they beat up frickin' Vorian and what's the other Harkonnen? I can't remember off the top of my head. Yeah, but then she gets whisked away back to Wallach 9. But I don't know if they're gonna show any of that in the TV show or not. But, well, it doesn't look like that was my intro. We haven't even started the show yet. So I guess we'll get straight into the first things first. We'll go to my little happy story. Javier Bardem gets honest about Dune. So they did an interview He did a interview, and however, he talked about upcoming Dune Messiah. During an interview with Variety, the Oscar winner said, "I know that I'm in the book, so I should be in the script. If I'm not, I'll be very angry." That's funny. He's going to be in Dune Messiah. He has to be, because he's a big part of the book. He's in Dune. He's in Dune Messiah. Stilgar. However, he raved about the director Denis Villeneuve, saying, "Seriously though, I totally loved him. I adore him. Whatever he wants and whatever he decides, it will be fine for me. Absolutely. He's one of a kind. He's an extraordinary human being. Such a loving man, funny as hell, and a real worker." Javier recalled his son's reaction after watching the last outing of the sci-fi epic Dune Part 2. When he saw Dune 2, he stood up in the theater and said, "That's my dad." That'd be pretty nice. How awesome would that be if your dad was in Dune? But then at the end he said, "But you haven't had any sword fighting." Yeah, he really didn't do any. He didn't really do much. So in Paul of Dune, the direct sequel to Dune, Stilgar is like assaulting planets. He assaults Kaitain. So I kind of hope they do a blend of Dune, Paul of Dune, and Dune Messiah. Even though Paul of Dune was a Brian Herbert extended universe book, it's like a filler between the two. That book's freaking good, man. I don't care what people say. There's a lot of Dune purists out there. I only know this first 6. That's all I like. And okay, that's fine. But I think for me, I was a big Warhammer 40k guy for years. I read the books and everything. I think that's why I like the Brian Herbert books, because they're kind of like read like those 40k books more than Dune. So that's probably I have a different kind of perspective on them. I'm a huge 40k fan, especially the lore and I paint them and everything. I don't do it anymore. I got a bunch. I do it. I just haven't had any time. They're too expensive. Yeah. So for those of you who don't know, Arrakis Central, I do love 40k as well as Dune. I probably might even know more about 40k than I do Dune. Honestly, maybe. There's just so many 40k channels. Yeah, so that was a cool little story on Javier Bardem, basically making a little joke there that he's waiting for a script. Yeah, the rumors are they're still working on a script to send out to these actors. Pre-production stuff. All right, so Dune Prophecy is getting mixed reviews, folks. So this part of the video, Dune Prophecy has been getting mixed reviews from reviewers, and actually higher scores from reviewers overall than the audience score. So episode 1 dropped last Sunday night, right? And on HBO Max, and it had very mixed reviews. So some of the reviews they're saying, let's go click on the tomato meter. How do you actually look at the reviews? I guess you gotta log in maybe to see them. Where's the actual reviews at? Cast more like this. I don't even know. But anyways, it's I don't really ever go on here, honestly. Yeah, so for whatever reason, it's got a 71% tomato meter, which is not bad. It should have been in the 80s for a Dune show like this, but 62 average, that is not good. So that's not looking good for them. This review over here at Slate gave it kind of a poor rating as well. HBO's big Dune show lacks the spice, which is not that's not good to talk about the show that talks about spice. The network wants its new drama to be the next Game of Thrones. Good luck with that. Even though Game of Thrones rips off Dune, so that's so. As of right now, I would say Game of Thrones looks like a better, well-made show technically than the show. I'd say. But I don't like it when they... I've ranted about this before. Game of Thrones is a complete ripoff of Dune. Okay. But that's... Okay, I did that rant last week. But that being said, the technical show is not looking as good as like... Yeah, so I get that. I get that. When Denis Villeneuve made his first movie, with no guarantee of a second... He wasn't just risking telling only part of the story, he risked telling the wrong one. In its entirety, the Dune cycle is a story of a cult of personality run amok, but at the end of Dune Part 1, this doesn't make any sense. We're left with the image of Timothy Chalamet's Paul Atreides as an ascendant savior, with little hint of totalitarian excesses to come. Well, yeah, he had to, or else his whole family get wiped out. So that's basically why he becomes a space dictator. If it's a movie about the rise of, bad Germans, cut off in the mid-1930s, depicting the bad German guy as a charismatic leader who brought pride and stability to a downtrodden country. Well, he's saying Paul Atreides is... Oh, man, this article is horrible, dude. Ugh. Anyways, that's a reach. In Dune so Paul Atreides was supposed to be JFK, from my understanding, from what Frank Herbert was writing about. Charismatic leader, the goddess in Nam, and all this kind of stuff, and that was basically what that was supposed to be based on, meddling in the Middle East, and nothing to do with 1940s Germany. Come on, Jesus, these people are... Man, what is... They're really stuck on that. In Dune Prophecy, the HBO series set in a century after the end of humanity war against thinking machines, the birth of Paul Atreides... I bet you this person hasn't even... What's this person? Sam Adams? I will bet $100 that Sam Adams at Slate has not read Sisterhood, Mentats, and Navigators to Dune. I'll bet $100 on that. If he ever sees this video, I want to know. I doubt he's read those books. Where was I at on the article? He was complaining about... Given the order... Okay, we'll see here. Let's read this. I'm going to dissect this a little bit. Okay, we know Paul isn't born yet, but the sisterhood of the Bene Gesserit is already laying the groundwork. They're not technically called the Bene Gesserit yet. So, okay, that's full of crap. Is already laying the groundwork for his ascent, gathering the genetic data and formulating the schemes that will allow them to breed and control the future rulers. That's actually true. That's out of the book, Sue. Given that the order is headed by Valia Harkonnen, which she basically infiltrated her way to the top, but she did kill Dorothea in the books, like just with the voice, just like she did in the show, but the setting was different. Oh yeah, Dune's way better than Game of Thrones. I agree with you 100%. I don't get excited over Game of Thrones. Oh, new season's coming out. I don't care. Especially the way that ended season 8 was horrible. But if the Dune movies are about a nobility intended rebellion gone wrong, no one on Prophecy starts with such high-minded ideals. Valia and her sister, yeah, because 10,000 years before, who runs a sisterhood alongside her without quite being her equal, may talk about securing the future of their order, but it's clear that the only real preservation they have in mind is their own. That's true. Preservation. Yeah, Valia is using the sisterhood as a tool to wipe out the Atreides bloodline. That's all she's doing. She doesn't care about the sisterhood. People, I mean, maybe a little, but if that's why I said this person didn't read the books. She's even using her sister. And she does want to control the galaxy or control the breeding and stuff, but her main goal with that is to find and wipe out the Atreides bloodlines. Young Valia, played by Jessica Barden, forces her rival for the role of the Order Mother Superior to cut her own throat. That's true. So that whole scene was wrong. So where she's like, oh, because that's her grandmother. Dorothea, Raquel was her grandmother. And then, was her grandmother or daughter? I can't always forget. But, I think it's a grandmother, I think. So, oh, yeah, another thing they don't talk about. The old lady that's dying, Raquel, she's Atreides. Yeah, her grandfather is Vorian Atreides, but because he was running around blanking all these women on different planets. But that's a side issue. So Dorothea was a great grandfather. So she's an Atreides. She has Atreides blood a little bit, but she's dead now. That happens. So that whole scene. Raquel calls Dorothea back from Seleucus Secundus because Dorothea was the truthsayer to the emperor, Salvador. Right? And I don't know if I think she dies before, or she leaves before he gets killed, I think, if I remember correctly in the books. Because Salvador is the emperor in those books, and then his Roderick takes over. Once Joseph Venport sets him up to be eaten by a worm on a spice harvester. Because he's like, this guy's he's just not working right for the spice harvesting and making millions and billions. So he sets him up to have the emperor eaten by a worm. But then Roderick, which is Emperor Javico in the show, his dad was Emperor Roderick. Roderick was the brother and handed the crown, so to speak, to Salvador. But Salvador, like I said, gets eaten by a worm set up by the spacing monopoly guy, Joseph Venport. The spicing, he basically pisses off Joseph Venport by what's the word? The emperor gets convinced by the Butlerian leader, the jihadi, to annex all spice harvesting production to the government, to the Imperium. So he takes control of it. Hostile takeover, so to speak, but by the emperor. And then Joseph Venport was making all that money from it. He's like, no way, he's not taking my money. And then he basically sets him up. He acts like he's buddy. Hey, sire, come out here. I'll show you the spice harvesting on Arrakis. And he comes down there, and then he basically takes him out on a harvester. He sabotages the shuttle. He flies off on his little pod, Joseph Venport, and then he pays off the worm guards, the guys in like little pods, like in the movie. He pays them off. They fly away, and then a worm comes, eats the emperor. So it's everybody. And then Roderick takes over, then vows vengeance against Venport. But he also hates Manfred Tarondo, the leader of the Butlerians, because he caused a big giant riot in Seleucus Secundus on the capital city, and it killed his daughter. So Emperor Javico's in the show right now, the emperor, his sister got killed in a riot trying to watch a parade. It turned into a riot by the Butlerian jihadis. So that's all in the books. So he hates both sides. So Javico and basically Navigators of Dune is figuring out how to get rid of both of those groups. Which is, like I said, I mean, not Javico, Roderick. Javico's dad. So Javico's dad was a real smart, smart emperor. But we're gonna. Eventually, he takes over. So jumping back to this article, I hate to go down the rabbit hole. I do it every dang episode, man. I go down the rabbit hole of this stuff. I know a lot about the extended universe Dune books. Let's see here. Who runs the sisterhood alongside with her? Good. Forces a rival, got that. Cuts her own throat, which is true. But in the book, Raquel wanted them to work together. So it wasn't like she was calling just for Valia. She called for both of her and Dorothea to come to her side when she's dying. And said, you two promise to work together and unite the two factions of the sisterhood. And then Valia's like, oh yeah, no problem. She's lying, of course. And then when she's dying, she touches Dorothea's head because it's her grandmother, essentially, and warps all the knowledge to her, whatever, to her mind. And she sees all the computer, the breeding program, and she's like, kind of stunned there for a second. And as she's sitting there kind of stunned from getting that whole data dump, so to speak, Valia uses the voice on her and freaking has her slap herself in the throat, just like kind of like we saw in the show. But there was nobody around. She cleared the whole room out. So that's still kind of the same. It's almost kind of, but it almost is basically the same kind of thing. Dorothea was gonna go and destroy or take out the breeding computers. We're gonna see it. So you keep thinking it's that little key. That's just the key to get into the room. You keep seeing her holding that key when she gets it back from her, and they stick it on the wall. That ain't the index. That's just the key, I think, to get into the room. When you see the room, I think if we saw it on one of the trailers, a quick glance, yeah, you'll see. We'll see. That's gonna be. I was right about that. I called that one. They're gonna have that in the show. I said that a long time ago. They're gonna have that in the show. They have to, because it's one of the biggest points of contention of the show. At this point in the galaxy, she's the only one to command. Yeah, because she invents it. Yeah, Valia Atreides invents the voice. Self-aware technology may be refitted, but the Bene Gesserit's gene mapping project is too valuable to discard. Yeah, so, and there is no rule Valia will not break, and no life she will not sacrifice to help return the disgraced Harkonnens to the power. Yes, by using it to wipe out the Atreides bloodline. She tracks them down on the planets. So unfortunately for the universe, the opposition of the Bene Gesserit's quasi-religious extremism is just another form of zealotry on the planet Seleucus Secundus. Emperor Javico is preparing for the wedding of his daughter, Yanez, to the 9-year-old son of a vital military ally, Duke Ferdinand Richesi. But those plans, which the sisterhood is manipulating all of this. I don't think a lot of people caught that. I know you guys did, but a lot of folks I was talking to, like, oh, really? I didn't even get that. Yeah. Valia Harkonnen is attacking the spice harvesting, and she's manipulating both sides of the houses to create that marriage. The problem is Desmond's showing up, and he's throwing a wrench into the works. So that's the only thing I don't know what's going to happen with him, because that's not really from the books. Now, my theory, I said earlier, is that he got a taste of some worm juice or water of life or something, and when he's in that worm, because men can see farther than women with the foresight, all the power. Which that's lore to Dune. Let's see. So Desmond Hart, I'm trying to figure out if his dad is Admiral Hart. So in Dune, Navigators of Dune, the book, there's an admiral that's loyal to the Emperor, Roderick, Emperor, Umberto Hart. But I don't know if that's linked to Desmond. I haven't seen that yet. I haven't had a chance to really look into it. Maybe I need to go back and look at the end of that book and see if it's mentioned that he has kids or something or a family. I don't think it does. I'll do that tonight. Yeah, so if that makes more sense, why he's buddy with the Emperor, because he's like they could have mentioned that in the story, but he mentioned he's a hardcore soldier and he's the only one who's survived 12 tours on Arrakis, right? So that's basically like a Medal of Honor winner. So you Medal of Honor winners who go hang out with the president, right? So he's hanging out with the Emperor. I mean, in that timeline, theoretically, surviving 12 tours of on Arrakis, keeping spice safe, theoretically, that's more higher status than even like our modern day, Medal of Honor winner we have. He's essentially a hero to the Imperium to him because he's keeping the spice going, and he did 12 tours, and he's so people were like, why is he just hanging out alone with the Emperor? It's because, like, basically you are a superstar if you've been 12 tours on Arrakis protecting spice production. It's higher than Medal of Honor status, rock star status, higher than you're like basically the king of pop, Michael Jackson. I don't even know, but he's just okay. It says transformed and traumatized by his brush with death. Yeah, so we just need to know exactly what he got out of it. We don't know the power or what happened to him, but we'll find that out hopefully. Desmond is wild-eyed as Valia and is stoic, but not. See, I originally thought he was going to be a Butlerian, but he's not apparently. I don't think they're gonna. I'll get into my thoughts in a second on that. Dune Prophecy hits numerous road bumps on the way to the screen, among them losing Diane Adumu John, who wrote the series' first episode, as co-showrunner. Alison Shapker is now in charge and discarding the girl-coded subtitle, The Sisterhood. Although it is largely still a series about palace intrigue and space nuns, it seems clear that orders were issued somewhere along the way to make the series more like both Game of Thrones and Westworld, less so, especially in a hilariously gratuitous scene where the princess combat instructor extracts information from Duke Reach's daughter while the two flop around naked inside of what looks like a hollow tree. What? Oh, they're talking about the bar sex scene with the drugs. Yeah, that didn't bother me because that's in the books that they do people party with spice. So people are making a big deal about that, like, oh, what is this? This is Dune. They're doing spice drugs. People are addicted to it. Spice originally was just for a drug, before they realized it could be used for space navigation, creating navigators. It's all it was really for. Was really just a drug, and then they used it also for some medicine stuff. But then they find out later it can block, or it can like inoculate you from this thinking machine virus they make. And spice is like basically the cure, essentially. That's in the other books, the books before the Sisterhood books. So because spice is like a big deal, but it's not like a big deal like it is later when they figure out, 100% safe space travel, folding space. Now we need it. Now it elevates the status of the spice. It becomes a bigger deal later on. So why is this person mad about everything they're reading here? Is basically the show. It seems. Oh, okay. So you basically see the side as the plot constricts around the conflict between Valia and Desmond. There's a hint. There are hints of larger, presumably multi-season story. Most of them involving the mystery vision that increasingly plague the characters, both major and minor. But they feel more like lost four-toed statues than pieces. Oh, so they're just mad because they're not getting explained all of the secrets of the show in the first episode. That's basically what this guy's mad about. You're not telling me all the secret plot points in the first episode? Oh, I don't like it. That's a stupid way to be mad at the show for. The sense of stasis envelops Dune prophecy as a whole, and focusing exclusively on the competing centers of power. These people have seen 4 episodes, though. I do forget that. And a different person wrote episode 1 than the rest of the show, so that could be concerning, folks. They might have... Tomorrow night, if I'm not liking what I'm seeing on episode 2, I could be agreeing with this guy. The show, for me, will never get above a 7 unless it shows a guild navigator, Mentat school, references Vorian Atreides, Griffin Harkonnen. Let's see who else. Manford Torundo, Joseph Empor, and Norma Senva. Or at least Venki Enterprises or something like that. And it might not even talk about Roderick or Emperor Salvador either. If it doesn't really talk about any of that, I'm gonna be like, it'll be a 6, 7 out of 10 show. If it covers all those other points, it's already not gonna be a 10 because the music's not very good. So, and it's not much action, but the books are not. Actually, those prequel books have more action than actually Dune does. There's like fleet battles, all kinds of stuff going on in the Cymex come back. That freaking Ptolemy working for Joseph Emport, he funds that scientist to bring back Cymex. He uses failed space navigator brains to make Cymex robot cyborgs because he wants to use them to fight the Butlerians. Because everybody hates the Butlerians. They're going around and killing people on their planets. Like, they'll land on a planet and be like, "Oh, you got a computer screen. No, I needed it to survive. Oh, kill everybody in the village." Like, they go no technology. They don't even use shields, I don't think. Which is dumb because they use them against the thinking machines. Yeah, the man for Torundo, this guy missing his lower half of his body. He rides around on this Inari, Idaho. She's like a freaking awesome swordsmaster. He rides around on her back like Master Blaster from Thunderdome, and he rules the Butlerian jihadis. Gets them all riled up. Their ships are all kind of old too, and they fly around and just weed out technology on planets that people are using, and then he'll wipe out whole cities and stuff. But yeah. So I'm gonna move on from this article. We talked about the score on there, mixed reviews, and then the final one I'm gonna talk about. Like I said, this is a quick stream. I'm probably gonna cut it short here. Yeah, right now I would say it's a 7, 8 out of 10. Like you say, Von Max. Yeah, it definitely looks freaking awesome. So I have no complaints about the visuals. I don't really like the music that much. The acting's good. I really like Javico is my favorite character of the show right now. The Emperor. To tell you the truth, Emperor's awesome. Dude, that part in the throne room, I don't think people realize, like, when the little kid, the prince, he releases the thinking machine toy, and everybody is like, "Oh!" Like, that's death penalty. Having that technology. Remember because the mom freaks out. That's forbidden. And the guards are about to grab him and stuff. They usually will take you out back and just kill you instantly. Or what, you go on trial or whatever. Yeah, that stuff's forbidden. You get caught with that technology, you get killed. Basically. And that's why that scene when the Emperor was like, just never mind it. And then everybody looks at each other like, what the hell? I love that. That's my favorite scene of that episode. Yeah, that kid should have been basically, and then so they're using tech. The Richizis, they're using thinking machine technology to make all their ships and stuff. Probably, I bet you might even find that out later that they're just finding ships out there. That's how he's getting his fleet. He's converting thinking, because that's actually what Joseph Emport does in the books. he converts thinking machine ships into human regular fleet ships. So much to talk about with this show and backstory. There's so much lore. Dune Prophecy, so Game Rant. Dune Prophecy Rotten Tomatoes score achieves a new, not so great milestone for the franchise. Dune Prophecy is HBO's lowest rated project on Rotten Tomatoes in the franchise's history, disappointing some viewers. Yeah, the show's audience score is 60, I think it's like lower now, 62, based on 250 plus reviews. With the premiere of Dune Prophecy, I don't know what people were hoping they were gonna get. My complaints are obviously not the same what other people's complaints are, because I read the books. So overall, it's actually pretty good. About based, I think the majority of the market or the audience for this show is people who like the Sisterhood of Dune books, like I do. So this show is going to piss off a lot of Dune Frank Herbert purists. They're not going to like it. They're going to hate it off the bat. Normies aren't going to like it because it's not a lot of action and worms and stuff, right? Because it doesn't really have much of that in the books. A little bit. Dune, Sisterhood of Dune has a lot of stuff on Dune. A little bit of stuff on Dune throughout the 3 books. But it ain't like it's all on Dune. There's barely going to be any Dune. I think they should have focused more of this show on, to really get people. They should have made the show about Desmond Hart. The show should have just started off like he's harvesting, protecting spice on Dune, and then they get attacked, and then basically you can still have the little narration. You can still have the little title. 10,000 years before, you could have had a little bit of a thing where you talk about the Balerian Jihad, and now spice is used for navigation, space folding, but then just focus on his journey, and then later on you could get over to the Valia. So we saw that scene in a recording, right? That should have been like the beginning of the show. We should have had that whole little battle and him getting attacked by the worm. That's the way I would have did it. And then Valia just kind of doing things there. She did too much explanation in the beginning of the episode that I don't like all that. But yeah, that's might be pretty much it for the episode. But I had a phone call. Hopefully you guys didn't hear that. I muted it, I think. But anyways, I gotta go and get family stuff going. And then, so not looking good for reviews on Dune Prophecy. Overall, I like the show. I know I'm not the norm. Von Max likes it a lot. I mean, Dune fans of the book, generally speaking, Dune fans are gonna probably be okay with it. But normies are probably not going to like it, and Frank Herbert purists are not going to like it. So you're cutting a lot of your audience out with that show. I just don't think they should have focused on Desmond Hart. I think his journey. They should have just tightened it all up and made it about him, really, and had the sisters on the side doing their stuff. Right? Yeah. Oh well, that's what I would have did. But man, I don't know. We'll see what happens. No, they're not gonna listen to. They're not gonna listen to us. So let's just hope it stays level. My hope is that it just kind of stays the same tone as episode 1. Maybe a little action here or there, and I'll be happy with that. I hope it just doesn't go off the rails on some stuff. So keep that same kind of level going, and I'll be happy. 7 out of 10. If the music was better, I give it a high score. If they end up adding Spacing Guild Navigators, I'll raise my score for sure. Navigators and Mentats, if they put them in there, some form of fashion, that'll elevate my score. But that's what I'm looking for. Yeah, but Until then, folks, I gotta cut the stream off. Gotta go run. Oh yeah, you're an All Book fan? Yeah, yeah. I'm watching till the end too. I like the show, so I'm gonna keep watching. But I gotta go and do family stuff, and then I'm gonna be playing me some gonna be playing me some Stalker 2 later on. I'm just not gonna do it on this stream because it's not Dune stuff. But too bad Dune Awakening ain't out yet. For those of you who joined late to the stream, Dune Awakening is still in closed beta. We haven't heard any news. They gave us the community net number 3, didn't tell us anything about open beta or nothing, so we're still waiting on anything on that. We're kind of stagnant, man. We're kind of stagnant with that game. We don't know when they're coming out with open beta. Some people were hoping for Christmas or something. But I think they might not do that for Christmas. Usually they don't do that kind of thing on Christmas, do they? They usually do it maybe after. Either they do it right before or after when people come back from vacation. So if they were smart, they would do some sort of like open beta the like week before people go on vacation in December to give everybody a tidbit or some kind of demo or something like maybe like a single player sandbox demo people could run around in for the Christmas holiday, like a Haga Basin, do little base building or something, or something that I don't know why they don't do something like that just to keep people in. All right, guys, I gotta go, but stay tuned tomorrow night. I'll be live streaming post episode 2. And I'll be on, I'm not going to do a pre-episode one again because that was a little too much. So I'm going to do a post-episode 2 review, live review tomorrow night. So right after the episode ends, boom, I'm going live. And we're talking about episode 2, see how I like it. So, and see what you guys think. So make sure to hit my bell notifications, like and subscribe to Arrakis Central if you like Dune. And I will see you guys next time.
Shifting sands are fake to find. In the desert heat we leave behind. Promise of the queens that had a wreck, rising from the dust and back. Copters cutting through the sky. Harkonnens plotting spies to lie. What is worth more than gold? Ancient secrets still untold. Shiny whispers, dreams to thee. Bene Gesserit's prophecy. Fear the mind that's set free. In the shadows, destiny. Shifting sands are fate to find. In the desert heat we leave behind. Promise of the queens that had a wreck, rising from the dust and back. Dreams to thee, Bene Gesserit.